Zug Island is a heavily industrialized island, toxic wasteland within the city of River Rouge at the southern city limits of Detroit, Michigan. Originally a marsh-filled peninsula, Zug Island is not a natural island in the river. It was formed when a shipping canal was dug along the southwestern side of the island, allowing ships to bypass several hundred yards of twisting waterway near the natural course of the lowest portions of the River Rouge. The land was incorporated into a coarse township, making up the very northeast corner of the township. The interest in developing the land came when Samuel Zug came to Detroit from Cumberland County, Pennsylvania, in 1836 to make his fortune in the furniture industry with the money he earned as a bookkeeper. In 1888, Zug allowed the River Rouge Improvement Company to cut a small canal through the south section of his property to more directly connect the Rouge River to the Detroit River. This shortcut canal, as it came to be known, was enlarged in the early 1920s by Henry Ford to allow large ships to more easily navigate to the Ford River Rouge complex. In 1891, Zug completed the largest real estate transaction of the decade. He sold his island for $300,000, $10.2 million in 2023, to industries that wanted it as a dumping ground. The Detroit Iron Works brought ironmaking to Zug Island in 1901 with the commissioning of a blast furnace built in 1902. The island is mostly off-limits to the public. Cameras are prohibited on the premises, so pictures of the island's interior are rare. Zug Island has been the subject of environmental concerns for over a century, including air quality, industrialization, and the Rouge River. The neighborhoods around Zug Island are among the most polluted in Michigan, with air quality samples containing lead, methyl ethyl ketone, and other substances. Residents have also reported foul smells, sparkly dust, and toxic side effects like asthma. In 2022, the federal government sued the EES Coke battery plant on Zug Island for violating the Clean Air Act by emitting thousands of tons of sulfur dioxide into the air since 2014. Heavy industrialization on and around the island has contributed to environmental degradation, including a decline in wildlife and vegetation. Industrial activities on Zug Island may also be the source of the Windsor hum, a low-frequency noise that has disturbed residents of Windsor, Ontario. The EES Coke facility releases thousands of tons of sulfur dioxide in the overburdened River Rouge community and near the state's most polluted zip code, 48217. Releasing sulfur dioxide into the air is known to cause harm to the environment. The pollution from Zug Island also extends to the water, with the sediments in the lower Rouge River contaminated with heavy metals, polychlorinated biphenyls, and polynuclear aromatic hydrocarbons. In February 2023, Great Lakes scientists called for urgent action to clean up the toxic contaminants in the river, which may have been building up for over a century. In April 2024, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, began an $84 million dredging project in the river to remove some of the pollution. Under the Great Lakes Legacy Act and the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, the U.S. federal government has committed to paying up to 65% of the cost for such cleanups as those required for the Detroit and Rouge Rivers, both identified decades ago as Great Lakes areas of concern and cleanup priorities. Despite the island's extremely developed industrial landscape, areas along the south and west shores are left undeveloped to provide habitat for wildlife. Foxes and once endangered peregrine falcons, which frequent large outdoor structures such as the gantry cranes at the Ord docks, thrive on the island and offshore. At the bottom of the Detroit River is a man-made bed of coal cinders which serves as a rare spawning site for lake sturgeon, a threatened species. Less desirable are the sizable and sometimes troublesome populations of gulls, feral cats, and rats. In 2011, the Zug Island area was identified by Canadian scientists and Ontario's Ministry of Natural Resources as the source of mysterious rumblings and vibrations, known as the hum, that plagued hundreds of area residents with cyclical vibrations reportedly being felt in the ground up to 50 miles away. In April 2013, a Canadian scientist used sound level meters and a portable pentangular array of cameras and microphones to try to accurately identify the source of the sound. The results of the study were released on May 23, 2014. Although contemporaneous news reports claim the study confirmed that Zug Island was the source of the hum, the report's findings actually stated the most probable source of the hum points well to the south of Zug Island. The bulk of our observations from both stations do not support the hypothesis that the source of the hum emanates from Zug Island. Reports of the hum ceased after the U.S. steel plant on Zug Island ceased operations in April 2020.